So I have put the Saul Revo cranks on this bike. This is the Framed Bmx, the 22-inch bike, so 22-inch wheels, 22-inch top tube, and it definitely rides very differently. It feels different. So the Revos are going to be chromoly cranks, chromoly treated, or chromo treated I should say, and they are going to be a 19 millimeter bottom bracket for this particular fit. I left the original bottom bracket bearings in there because they weren't bad at the moment. Now they aren't quite the same as the bottom bracket bearings that came with the Revo set, so I will be changing those out and doing a review on how it feels in comparison with these. So this is the framed sealed bearings for the bottom bracket, but with the Revo pass-through axle and the what's it called here, the crank arms. And I did put Animal BMX pedals on, so these are Saul Revo. Just so you know, this is the same exact set of cranks that I have on my We the People Justice. And yeah, so we've got that going. I did have to get a new sprocket. This sprocket here is just a used Mission sprocket. Nobody had a brand new sprocket in stock in town, so I will be buying a new sprocket as well. This one's kind of worn. It's really thin. It's really narrow. It works, but it does have some play in it, so I will be dealing with that. But yeah, overall we got it going, and it does feel very different. So these are going to be not only thicker but splay a little bit more, so it's going to put the pedals out a little bit further. The pedals are sealed and much beefier. These Animal BMX pedals are, so it definitely feels unique to what it did feel like, but they're going to be stronger, both the pedals and the crank, so that's good. And there was some damage to the crank arm from the factory ones that were on here that I told you about, but also the sprocket was damaged, which is why I went ahead and replaced it with the used one that somebody had. So know that when you replace this crank, you're going to want to replace the sprocket with it as well. Crank, I got it on sale for about $65, but the sprocket's going to be about another 50 bucks. So know that you're going to be into, even if you buy like get a deal on your cranks and everything, it's going to be about $100, $130 upgrade on this bike that's only, I got it for $209 on sale. Not to mention the tires that I had to buy from We the People, not to mention the tubes I had to buy as well. So now we're into this bike for about, let's see, pedals, tires, tubes were about 135, and then the sprocket is going to be about 60 bucks, and the crank was about $70. So I mean, we're into this bike for about $500 now. And is it, my We the People with tax and everything was like 670 bucks, and we're not nearly the quality of bike that has, or that the We the People Justice is. So is it worth it? Well, that's always the discussion, right? And that's why we're going over this. One thing I have noticed as I went and tested it a little bit, now that the cranks and everything are more stable, I'm still having problems with the stem. The stem doesn't want to stay straight no matter how hard I tighten it. I'm about to break these bolts, so I can't tighten that much better. And the handlebars are still sliding backwards on bunny hops and ramp jumps. So yeah, but here probably maybe either later this afternoon or tomorrow, I'm going to take this and go back to the park, do that same drop I did, not bunny hopping, just dropping off, see how that handles it, see if anything else breaks, and I mean, realistically, the handlebars and the stem are going to have to be upgraded to be of any quality on this bike eventually, and I still need a new sprocket. So yeah, is it worth the money? Well, that's really up to you. Who should buy a framed BMX? Well, those who don't know if they're into BMX and are going to stay in it should buy it. But if you figure it out pretty quickly, you're going to be in it. Instead of upgrading, you should probably just buy a different bike, just honestly speaking. Don't really like the grips, not my thing. I prefer other grips much better. I definitely don't like flanged grips. This is like an old style. I know some people still ride them. I'm not a big flange rider. So, and the brake, they don't give you enough cable for the back brake. You can't even do a proper bar spin. So yeah, just know that there's quite a few things that are just kind of on this. I bought this one once again because 22-inch, and I was curious what it would feel like to ride 22 tires and wheels and top tube, and so that's what we've got going on at the moment. All right, that's it.